whole CA course itself is like a very flexible course. Like you can have your own schedule, you can study at your own pace, at your own time. You don't have like a particular college to go to. I think that had helped me very much because both dance is flexible and also CA is flexible. So I could fix my own schedule. I didn't have to be dependent on somebody else, or I didn't have to be liable to somebody else that I have to be here at this place. I read any subject. I never went with the mindset of mugging up or remembering things. First, I always thought that I should understand what's there, and I think it's not possible for any person to remember everything that you learn at the first time you read itself. And for a course like CA, you need multiple revisions, multiple times of reading. Sometimes even after doing multiple revisions, you might not remember, and I think we should accept the fact that this course is like that. But then once I got into the course, I was like, no, I have to finish this and go out. Also, clearing my CA Inter in the first attempt gave me a further confidence that I can still do it. There is a way to go.
Welcome to Tycoon Law Academy. Today we have with us Rukmini Inturi, who has qualified chartered accountant in the recent examination of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Adding to that, she is a passionate professional Bharatanatyam dancer. In today's podcast, we are going to discuss about various aspects of qualifying CA as well as performing arts along with pursuing professional courses. Welcome, Rukmini.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here, sir. It's a great pleasure being here.
Yeah, can you just speak about yourself? How did you get the passion into the arts in the first place? Because you are a professional Bharatanatyam dancer. Once I had an occasion to be the chief guest for your program, and it's a really a honor for me because for me I have no understanding about arts, but still you invited me as a guest because I was a teacher. So I really looked at the passion in which you perform. Can you just brief about it?
No, I started dancing when I was 5. So it didn't start with interest at beginning. My mom just put me into classes, and that's how I got into it. And later on, as I grew up, I saw that I was good at it, and I started liking it. When I was in 10th grade, I saw myself being passionate about it, interested in it, and then that's how I got into it.
But when you started this dance as a passion, is it that your parents identified it or you wanted to go voluntarily? For example, when you were in 5th standard or 4th standard, whatever it is, how did you first get that chance of getting that spark? Because most of the time when we pursue a passion, it's a spark moment. It is nothing planned.
Yeah.
What was the spark moment and identification of your passion?
Yes, sir. At the beginning, it was my mom who used to push me into it. But then later on, I used to be appreciated in class, like continuously being appreciated by your teacher. I think that's at a young age, it motivates you a lot. And then I also started looking at myself as a dancer. And I think that's how I started getting into it.
So
that was the spark.
Just initially to understand that when you first entered the dance class, do you remember that day?
First entered the yeah. I was actually living in Gujarat before, so there I had another guru. I learned under her for 2 years, but I don't really remember those days. But later on, when I moved to Chennai, I joined with Shri Nitish Kumar and Srimati Indu Nitish. They are my gurus. So I remember there was an apartment called Jane Savantika. That's where our classes used to happen back then. So I remember the dress also that I wore, a red color and blue chudidar that I wore and went. And yeah, that was my first vague memory of my dance class.
So we were discussing about guru in art. How important is guru with respect to dance or any art for that matter? Why is guru important?
Sir, I think without a guru, you cannot move ahead. You cannot picture your future. At least at the beginning, you need a person who would handhold you, teach you, groom you, and show you the right path. And that's how important a guru is. I think even today, even after you become a professional, you still need a guru, someone who's always there at the back, whom you can go to whenever you're in trouble or for any guidance, a trustworthy person. And I think I'm very fortunate in that case because I've had the same guru for so many years now. So that's
so.
And
when you chose guru, so like for example, mother and father would have had multiple choices. Like when you do a performing dance, performing art, for that matter, any art for that matter, music or dance, you have multiple teachers and gurus who would be teaching. How did they square up your guru? How did they choose? What factors that whoever wants to enter dance as a profession or art as a profession should see from a guru? Is it a random choice, or is there any way to evaluate the gurus to whom you get associated over a period of time and then learn your performing art?
As parents, I don't know what my parents would have like actually thought about it. I don't even know if they gave a thought into it. But then back then, one factor was it was near to my house. It was easy for my parents to drop me back and forth. But otherwise, I think we cannot evaluate a guru without knowing that
Exactly.
person. So there's no choice that I took. I was just put in there, and I think I fell in the right place with the right hands. And I feel guru is not just a teacher, but also like my guru wouldn't guide me only on my dance life. He and she, both of them, they also respect my other interests, and I think they were also a major part of my CA journey, where they would encourage me to do both. They never told that you should only choose dance. They always like helped me take my own decisions, but they guided me through this whole journey.
It's fantastic to understand the blend that you had. Like,
Yes.
on one side, you really perform well in academics. I've seen coaching you in chartered accountancy, and I've seen you responding in the class with a lot of enthusiasm, balancing with both. When you were attending classes, you used to balance dance class also, and certain times you used to ask me a exemption, and I used to grant you immediate permission because I know that your passion was lying there, and you used to ask for recorded classes and makeup still. When you are in school, like, school curriculum is more demanding. Before we get into the discussion of CA, chartered accountancy, which is more demanding, which is even more demanding than school. So when you are in school, ideally your school starts at 8:45, 9:30 in the morning, between 8:35, 9:30 in the morning. And how did you actually balance during the school days? That's very important. Then we get into the professional side. How did you balance the school time? Like, how did you balance the morning hours? Then later coming back in the evening, and you are performing academically well also. So how did you do that?
One thing that dance, I think learning dance from a very young age has helped me focus well, and like it's given me some kind of commitment and dedication towards anything I do. And I always enjoyed studying also. Like I used to like studying. So I think both the things were not like a pressure to me back then. I used to go to school at around 8:30, be back home by 4 o'clock maximum. And then I think I had the rest of the evening. I used to go to play, and I used to have dance classes also. So I think those 4 or 5 hours I used to do that. And then I also used to study. So it never felt like balancing to me. It just happened.
Okay, but
That way.
anytime at your when you're preparing for the exam, you always anytime did you feel I should be dancing this time, but still I'm preparing for the exam? Anywhere you had the clash of passion with your commitment to the education?
Not during school times, because school times I feel like I had plenty enough time to manage both. Like even during exams I used to go to dance classes. Even during programs I used to like study well for my exams. So back then it didn't feel very difficult. It was smooth enough. But then what you told, I felt during my CA times here and there. But then that were those times were also manageable.
And I think post 10th standard, you took a conscious decision to come to the commerce group.
Yes.
So when you chose commerce group, so your journey back then was a dance plus school. Then later, when you completed your 10th standard, you would have had a multiple choices. Go for a science group, the core science, or computer science, where you don't have the biology or zoology, the pure science aspect, and you had a third choice of getting into the commerce. What actually was driving you to the commerce group? Of course, many people will say that they didn't like science, that they came to the commerce. But what was actually driving you to the commerce group?
My first reason for choosing commerce was for me to have more time for dance back
Okay.
then. But I think that's not a justifiable answer. But otherwise, also, I used to like, I don't know, the subjects of commerce were a little fascinating. Everything was new. So if you choose commerce, it's like a new thing that you're gonna start from your 11th and 12th, unlike the other science groups. So and I've also always enjoyed numbers, like something experimenting with numbers and stuff like that. So yeah, that drove me towards choosing commerce.
So basically, the passion for the numbers,
Yes.
which was driving you to the commerce, and as as you said, okay, dance was a priority even when
Yeah.
you chose the
Yeah.
11th standard. And I'm sure that in the journey when you underwent a higher secondary, you had multiple career choices. Like, As a commerce student, you had an option to go for economics. You had an option to go for majoring in economics. You had an option to go for law. You had an option to go for chartered accountancy. You had an option to go to multiple courses. And while you are in school and you study in a very reputed school, PSBB, Padma Shri Balabhavan, how did you get the passion towards or idea towards doing chartered accountancy?
While I chose commerce itself, I had chartered accountancy at the back of my mind, but I was not very sure about it. And then in my 12th grade, my parents had come for a parents teacher meeting, and back then you were giving orientation in our school.
Okay.
So they heard to you. And we've also had discussions at home about doing chartered accountancy, but it was still in an unsure place. I never gave any final commitment to my parents. And after listening to you, my dad really wanted me to meet you. And I don't know if you remember, but I met you after my 12th grade, like when I had to choose what to do next.
Correct.
And that's when you gave me the confidence that I can still do both. My only worry was if I can do both if I chose chartered accountancy, because I've heard people say that it's a very difficult course. You have to study 24/7. You won't have time for anything else. So after I spoke to you, like after that meeting, you gave me the confidence that I can still do both, and I don't have to give up on anything for the other. And that's how I got into CA. So my CA journey basically started with you.
Oh, my pleasure. Pleasure to know that, because I didn't know this actually.
Okay.
But I remember that once you came and asked me that whether both CA as well as art can be
Yes.
pursued together. I think I was the first to say you can do both.
Yes.
Because many people, when they say chartered accountancy, you have to dedicate for the course, you have to always be with the books. But that was not the case that you are exhibiting today. The entire reason that I wanted you to speak to the larger crowd, the world should know that it is both is possible. When people say this is possible, that is not possible, that is possible, and this is not possible, this and that is possible, provided you are inspired mind. So that's where you stand as a role model. Now, back then, when you took up the chartered accountancy course, what was driving you towards the course? See, one is performing arts, which is your passion, but chartered accountancy also equally is a very challenging course. Not easy. Now you are a qualified chartered accountant at a very, very young age, and you have places to go in the next few decades. And from here onwards, you are going to launch your professional journey as well, right? And when you took up chartered accountancy course, I remember that we were all stuck in COVID back then, and there was a commitment of the class that we were supposed to take in a venue, but later we transformed ourselves into the virtual world, which we all sat together and experimented. So there were many challenges in even pursuing chartered accountancy at that point of time. What was one thing that was driving you? Anyway, you were passionate about your dance, and you would have taken in a degree program, and you took up chartered accountancy. What was a cold sweat moment? When I say cold sweat moment, a journey where you felt, oh, am I taking the right decision? At that time, how did you resolve the cognitive dissonance?
So during my CA foundation, I never felt that way. I kind of found it smooth. As you told, it was the COVID period. So we were just having regular dance classes, not much of performances. So I could like manage, and classes were also happening virtually. So back then it was manageable, and I also cleared the exam. So it kind of gave me a further confidence that, okay, you can still do it. I didn't know what kind of efforts were needed for CA. I just knew it was a difficult or challenging course, but I was still ready for it. And then as I started my inter journey, CA inter, at that time also we were having classes online because of the COVID scenario. And because I was at home, and because I think the whole CA course itself is like a very flexible course. Like you can have your own schedule, you can study at your own pace, at your own time. You don't have like a particular college to go to or something like that. I think that had helped me very much.
Okay.
Because both dance is flexible and also CA is flexible, so I could fix my own schedule. I didn't have to be dependent on somebody else, or I didn't have to be liable to somebody else that I have to be here at this place. So it was like that. And also clearing my CA inter in the first attempt gave me a further confidence that I can still do it. There is a way to go. And there were times like while I was studying, like I think most of the CA students or qualified CA people would know that you have to study the whole day, and only then you can clear. Like there's that amount of time is needed for that course. So at those times when I had to miss few of my dance classes here and there, and few programs here and there, I used to feel that, am I taking the right decision, or should I just stop and pursue a dance full time? But then once I got into the course, I was like, no, I have to finish this and go out. It's okay. It's just like I'm just few steps away from the final destination.
So once you're
Yeah.
done with CA, then rest of the life you can dance.
Yeah,
That was your
exactly.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay, just to get into the student level, micro level understanding, like when you're preparing for chartered accountancy, what is that? Like many students are struggling to clear exams, and I remember that we had multiple conversation about different techniques of preparing for the examination back then in the foundation days. I'm sure that you would have used those techniques over a period of time that helped you. But what is that one guidance whoever is studying? Because people spend hours together on the book.
Mhm.
When they study, how do they strategize the preparation from the micro level? Because we say we plan, we say we should study number of hours. Yeah, I understand that we should do that. But from the micro level, when you open the book, what thought process should be there? What kind of mindset we should apply? How to remember the content? Because at the end of the day, CA is a quantity is more. We have to consume more quantity to write in the examination in 3 hours. So how do we assimilate the informations?
So first, what I would share what I did. The first time I read any subject, I never went with the mindset of mugging up or remembering things. First, I always thought that I should understand what's there, and I think it's not possible for any person to remember everything that you learn at the first time you read itself. And for a course like CA, you need multiple revisions, multiple times of reading. Sometimes, even after doing multiple revisions, you might not remember. And I think we should accept the fact that this course is like that. You cannot expect to remember 100% of the entire subject. So, what I would do was I actually cleared my CA final in 2 attempts. So, I've evolved a lot from my first to the second time. I've changed a lot of things. The mistakes that I had done in my first attempt was I was decently satisfied with my preparation, but the way I approached my exam paper was not right. So the second time when I did it, I strategized it better by even planning of what question I would attend first, like the order of questions I would attend during my exam, and the time I would take for each question, which I had not planned earlier in my when I wrote it the first time. So I think more than planning and scheduling, you first finish all your classes for each subject, whatever you take. Do not switch faculties, because faculties and books, I've seen a lot of my friends who would switch from one faculty's book to the other. And I think that consumes a lot of your time to map what's there,
The
what's
style
not
of
there.
preparation and all.
Yeah, yeah. And the mixture of subjects, I think it's individual for each person. Like, do one practical, do one theoretical, or do one whole subject at once and go to the other one. I did subject wise. Like, I finished one whole subject and then I moved to the other one. And the multiple revisions is a must for the course. So I think that's how it'll help you remember.
Remember the content.
Yeah.
So coming back to the foundation, inter, and final. So foundation and inter would have prepared full time for CA. Then comes your articleship. So you had all opportunities after completing inter to go to a big firm, medium firm, small firms, or proprietor run firms. And I remember that you once consulted me as well. I said you should blend your dance and your articleship. Then you consciously took a decision to go with a medium firm. Now when you did that, so you had a bit of practice. Now the three things comes: your art, that is your dance, then your preparation for the CA, then your practical side. In that period, how did you bring that blend of performing all the three together?
So first, when I chose my CA firm, like you told, I wanted a flexible place that would also allow me to go to my dance classes and my dance practices. So I chose a small firm. The first day I went there, I told him that I also want to pursue dance. And he was like, yeah, dance is your first preference. Anytime you want to go, I'll let you go. So I had that freedom there. So that's how I chose that firm. And the moment he told it, I was like, okay, I'm going to come here. So those 3 years, in my first year, I was mostly into articleship and dancing. I didn't really focus on my studies. And later on, I think from the after 1.5 years, I kind of slowly started preparing for my exams as well. I took recorded classes, but I couldn't do them consistently because I used to do articleship, go for dance classes, and my day was over. So, and then in the last 5 months when I taken my study leave, that was when I was fully into studying. So that time I didn't have office, so I had only dance and studying. So I still went for classes and practices programs when I was like during that 5-month study leave. Last 1 month I had not gone for, like last 1 month I dedicated fully for my
To the
studies.
complete studies.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming back to that preparation days, right? So you had about in final. Let us discuss about the final, because inter anyway, from foundation to inter, you had full time to prepare for the examination. But whereas in articleship you get study holidays. So many of the chartered accountant students, they get study holidays. They don't optimize it. They while away time in the screens, browsing through the screens, scrolling the screens, going through the Instagram reels and things like that. That is not a priority. I'm not saying that I'm no one to say that is wasting their time. They may even consume a content which is their passion. But coming back to the priority, that's not a priority during the study holidays time. So what all tips that you will provide? Because your juniors are all watching this program, and I would like you to present them what all the study tips you will provide from the micro level. How to go about in a day so that they don't prioritize something else. I will not say wasting. Priorities examination. How will we, what are the tips that will be provided to them so that they can use the time optimally?
So the first thing I would say that every student should have self-discipline. You shouldn't expect your parents or somebody else to tell you to go study or don't do this. And I think we're all mature enough to do it at, like when you're at a CA final level, you're all at an age where you can do it yourself. I had 2-3 friends of mine with whom I used to study. So I think that was a motivation. I've always studied like together with somebody else. So even if I didn't have the mood to study, I would see the other person studying and I would still study. So if you're able to find a friend, a well-wisher who would really want to study with you and which is going to be beneficial from both sides, I would suggest, like, that would be one of my suggestions. And the second would be, I think in the beginning of my study leave as well, the first 1 month, I didn't use it very efficiently because it was a little difficult to getting back to study
Right.
for a very long gap. But I still tried the maximum I could do. And then I was also a little addicted to YouTube back then.
Okay.
So what I did was, in Instagram, I'd logged out. So I would say, if you're not able to control yourself, please log out of Instagram or WhatsApp or uninstall it. It's just for a period of 5 months. After that, you can go back to it. So
Right. Absolutely.
yeah. If you're able to control, well and good. But I couldn't, so I uninstalled it from my phone. I was on WhatsApp just to have like some daily updates. And then what else I did was, I wouldn't like count the number of hours I studied. I used to just study and let it happen naturally as long as I could. And I would take short breaks here and there, 10 minutes, 20 minutes maximum. And then I used to go back to studying. And I could do this because I always had like one person with me who would also study. Like, we used to be accountable to each other.
Super.
So that way, I think it worked for me.